The 6500 XT is okay. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's not bad for the price. But did you know that it could do ray tracing? Apparently. Not sure how this is gonna go, to be honest. Might be a little bit of a bumpy ride, so strap in. Man, Trevor, the 6500 XT's a real piece of garbage, huh? Oh yeah, Kyle? Why'd you say that? Well, it's just crappy. It's not good like a RTX 3080 or whatever. Why couldn't AMD release a better GPU than this thing? Well, they did. The RX 6600. Well, yeah, I guess so, but, well, the 6500 XT still sucks. They should have made it better and do better stuff. Well, then it would cost more, right? Yeah. Well, I still think they should have made it better, even if it would have cost more. But then everyone would complain about the price. Well, yeah, we gotta complain about something. It helps us forget that it's the apocalypse and that we have to eat roasted squirrels and expired cans of dog food we find in the rubble. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I hate the 6500 XT too. Piece of garbage. Yeah, see? Feels good, doesn't it? You want to make some fancy necklaces out of random bones and shiny metal? I thought you'd never ask. Oh, hey. Hi there. How you doing? I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for clicking on the video today. This is the RX 6500 XT. Opinions are mixed on this GPU. Most people hate it though. Snobbish, pompous, hardcore gamer PC master race enthusiasts scoff at the less than stellar performance and lack of features like encoding and something about PCIe lanes or whatever. Yada yada yada. I've addressed all these points in my review of this GPU. There's a link to that in the description below. But long story short, I think it's a good GPU that offers a good value for the price compared to everything else that's out there at this price. But we're not here to talk about the merits of this GPU, or about its shortcomings, or how I'm a naive loser for thinking it's not the worst thing in the world. We're here for a special purpose: ray tracing. This GPU is currently the cheapest GPU that can do ray tracing. This only cost me $215. Will it do amazing? Well, probably not. Will it do terrible? Maybe. Will it do just kind of okay? Well, I don't know. I haven't tested it yet. Stop barraging me with questions and let's just try it out and see. We're running this in my little i5 12400 home theater PC that I built in a recent video. There's a link to that below if you want to know more about this setup. So, without further delay, let's see if this thing can actually do any ray tracing. Right. No. Oh, I fooled you there. Okay. Now, starting off with Shadow of the Tomb Raider, of course, my favorite game benchmark because it looks great, it has lots of options, and has nothing to do with my boyish crush on Lara Croft. We'll begin with the media preset at 1080p. Running around my little benchmark area without ray tracing gives us about 70 FPS. Not bad, right? Totally playable, and the game looks good. No complaints. But let's try out some ray tracing. I started off by putting ray trace shadows on high, but it didn't go great. It was not quite playable. We only got 23 FPS. That's pretty terrible performance. Ray tracing on high is like the medium amount of ray tracing, by the way, in this game. So I'm gonna keep it on high, but let's see what we can do to get some better performance. We'll go down to the low preset and 75% resolution scale, so we're running at about 900p, and this feels much better. The game suffers visually. It doesn't look as good, obviously, but we got a much more playable 42 FPS average by the end of my little run here. It's not impressive compared to other GPUs that offer ray tracing, but nothing even comes close to the price of this GPU. It's a $250 GPU, we have to keep that in mind. So let's do one more run here. We'll lower the resolution scale right now to 50%. So this is running at 720p, essentially. And yeah, that was a big help. We got up to 57 FPS. You know, many PC gaming enthusiasts would scoff at running games at 720p, but I don't mind it. I play games on my laptop with Radeon Vega 6 graphics when I'm away from my gaming PC, and I usually go down to 720p to get the best performance, and even if I have it on a 1080p TV, the games still look pretty good. I mean, I personally wouldn't bother with ray tracing on a 6500 XT. I think playing at high settings and getting around 50 or 60 FPS would be my preference. But at least the 6500 XT can do some ray tracing at playable frame rates, and it's impressive for the price. let's move on to Quake 2 RTX. This is kinda silly. Without ray tracing, we're capped at 1000 FPS. I don't think any of you have a 1000 Hz monitor, so at least you know the 6500 XT is future-proofed when playing Quake 2 without ray tracing, if you want to do that for some reason. Actually, I had lots of fun playing this in my tests for this video. It's been a million years since I played good old Quake 2. It's still a fun game, you know? The Quake series was always such a showcase game because Quake 1 and Quake 2, they came out very early in the 3D games era, back when everything was still sprite-based, at least in the first-person shooters. So to have fully 3D games with fully 3D models, that was pretty amazing. It was a glimpse into the future. And I love seeing them way back in the 1990s, even if I wouldn't have a PC that could play them until much later in life. Anyways, let's try some ray tracing. We go from 1000 plus FPS down to 23. I mean, I know it's not really a fair comparison, but with ray tracing enabled, it's now running 4,347% slower. Well, I mean, it's 1080p, and this is a ray tracing demo that's supposed to be impressive. I can tell the ray traced effects are pretty high quality. The shadows are super soft, and the reflections are high resolution. I'd probably opt for like 900p or 720p to get that frame rate up. But you know what? I played this for like 10 minutes, and once I was into the game, I kind of forgot about the low frame rate and just enjoyed the ray traced visuals. So, like, don't buy this card for ray tracing, I think is the takeaway so far. And if you want to use it to try ray tracing, and you don't mind lowering the settings, then yeah, you can. And you can have a good time. Not bad. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Moving on to Cyberpunk 2077, the most intensive and unoptimized game known to man. Running at 1080p with a medium preset gives us 48 FPS average. Not the worst performance in the world. I'd play at these settings. But let's enable the low ray tracing preset. And, yeah, that's a big nope. Down to 19 FPS average. This is not playable. But on low-end RTX GPUs, we can enable DLSS to make up for some of the performance loss. We can't do that on AMD GPUs, obviously, but we can enable FSR. So let's turn FSR on to performance and see what happens. Okay, 34 FPS. Not amazing, but it's actually kinda playable. I say kinda because it was pretty stuttery. I don't like this. I wouldn't play with ray tracing at all in this game. Not on this GPU. But not on any GPU, actually. I made a whole video about how I think ray tracing is a gimmick and a waste of money. There's a link to that video in the description below if you're interested. I think running at 1080p with a low-medium settings mixed and balanced FSR, getting around 60 FPS is how this game should be played on this GPU. That feels good and looks okay. I mean, it's Cyberpunk, right? What do you expect?
You monster.
Lots of people want to know, how will Minecraft do? Minecraft added ray tracing and it has all sorts of RTX branding all over the place. Well, at 1080p, it's not going to be great. I got like 16 FPS average, but when I lowered the native Windows resolution down to 720p, that's what you have to do because this game doesn't have resolution options, we got up to 37 FPS average. That is fine. Yes, absolutely fine. In this game, that's a playable FPS. And it looks so cool. It's crazy to see Minecraft running with ray tracing on such a cheap GPU. I know you can achieve a similar effect with shaders, and this is kind of old news at this point, but I had a great time checking this out. I think lots of kids and childish grown-ups want to play Minecraft with ray tracing. The Windows 10 version of the game doesn't have mod support, so for those who play this version, then this is the only way you could get ray traced effects in Minecraft without spending substantially more on another GPU. Like the RTX 3050, that costs quite a bit more than the 6500 XT. I say this is a big win right here. Ray tracing in Minecraft? Well, with a few sacrifices, yeah, no problem. And finally, I really wanted to include Metro Exodus Enhanced in the ray tracing video because this is the only game that ray tracing is required to play that I know of. You need a GPU that can do ray tracing to play this game. The game won't even start otherwise. And, well, it's not great. We're running at 1080p with the lowest settings, and 0.4 shading rate that lowers this down to below 720p, and we only got 24 FPS on average. Even lowering the native resolution down to 720p with the 0.4 shading rate, which is less than 360p, and it didn't really change our FPS at all. I think the bottleneck here is the ray tracing hardware on the 6500 XT. It's just not up for this game, even at the lowest settings, which is a shame. And it shows that if you buy this GPU for ray tracing, then yeah, it's gonna be a disappointment. I think ray tracing on the 6500 XT is a novelty. It's something you could try. And if you really want to use it, you can with some sacrifices. Minecraft was good, Shadow of the Tomb Raider was fine, so it can be done. But in most games, especially new games that come out in the future, it's not going to be worth enabling ray tracing. But it's cool that it's here. I'm happy that there's a GPU that will do ray tracing at this price point, albeit with some caveats. Oh, there you have it. Ray tracing on the 6500 XT? Not great, not even good. But it's there if you want it for some reason. But what do you think? Do you play with ray tracing? Do you even care about it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you hate me? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or the thumbs down button if you didn't. Subscribe for more videos from yours truly. I'm TechDweeb. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. In the Big Rock Candy Mountains, there's a land that's fair and bright, where the GPUs grow on bushes, and you sleep out every night. The microcenter lines are empty, and the sun shines every day. On the birds and the bees and the RTX trees, the FPS springs where the NPCs sing at the Big Rock Candy Mountains. I miss my family. I miss YouTube.